And I will count us in. Hi, Pete. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Make Me a Nerd. I'm Mandy Kaplan, a mainstream mom whose mission it is to explore the world of nerd culture that I've been missing out on and afraid of my whole life. If you're new to the podcast, it's real easy. I don't know anything about anything. I find somebody who knows a lot and has a lot of passion, and they try to share that nerdy love of something with me. And that's the podcast. That's the whole thing. Pretty easy. A few weeks ago, I have a little nerd update. I did a podcast about The Godfather, which, how have I never seen The Godfather? What is wrong with me? With Seth Vargas, the movie Friends podcast host. And we were talking about how pervasive The Godfather is in culture and society. And I released the episode, and lo and behold, a few weeks later, I'm watching Hot in Cleveland, my favorite, and Elka says, leave the cannolis, take the gun. Oh, and maybe I already said this on the podcast. Oh, shoot, I think I might have. Anyway, The Godfather is so pervasive. It has invaded every aspect of our pop culture, much like today's subject, Psycho. How have I never seen Psycho? Okay, what's wrong with me? You know who has seen Psycho? My incredible guest today, Jesse Pfister. He is a nerd who likes books and old movies. He also enjoys going to the gym and eating clean. Except when he gets tempted by ice cream, then he succumbs to his favorite vice. He has been a working voice actor for nearly a decade, and he also trades stocks. He's a regular host on the trading firm's YouTube channel, Trade the Pool, where he analyzes the markets and gives advice on how to trade. Jesse Pfister, welcome to Make Me a Nerd.
Hey, lovely to be here, Mandy. Thank you for having me. Super excited.
I know you and I met in the voiceover world and just hit it off, and I thought, I bet he could get real down and nerdy about something. Down and nerdy.
Down and nerdy.
Pete, change the name of the podcast. That's so good. Why have I never thought of that? Down and nerdy.
It's perfect.
Oh,
in case you ever want to like reboot at some point, if you ever need to. Down and nerdy. That's it.
I might get t-shirts might get made. I
love
just it. I'm feeling it. Okay. So you immediately said old Hollywood.
I did.
And I think we referenced the podcast, You Must Remember This. I'm assuming you listen.
I have heard that, yes.
Oh, yeah. So good. And she does very, very deep dives into entire sections of Hollywood, like the studio system or rivalries between two leading actresses or whatever. But you wanted to talk Hitchcock. What do you love about Hitchcock?
Too much. So much. I love Hitchcock's personality. Hitchcock was a serious yet very much a joker on the set with his people. He would play practical jokes. For instance, one time he made a bet with an actor and said that you couldn't go to bed handcuffed tonight. And the actor said, yes, I can. And Hitchcock said, okay, fine. Well, let me put the handcuffs on you. And as he did that, he gave the actor, unbeknownst to the actor, he gave him coffee, but he also added laxatives to the coffee as a practical joke. So Hitchcock would play these practical jokes on actors throughout his entire career, and he got a lot of humor from that. He was a fabulous human being who understood direction, cinematography, camera, story. The thing about Hitch, again, like I said, too much. There's too much to actually talk about with Hitch, but he thought in pictures. Okay, so a lot of times when he would think of a movie that he wanted to do, he'd be reading a book. He would already be doing the storyboards for the said movie in his head before he even did anything on paper. And once he did something on paper, he would take every single frame to every shot that he was going to do and say, this is how I'm laying out each and every scene. So he was meticulous with detail.
And apparently very visual, not just paragraphs, but visual. Now, you're saying he would read a book and then start his storyboards. I thought he wrote Psycho, but he did not.
He did not. No. Robert Bloch wrote Psycho in 1959.
A
Uh,
book.
a book, yes, a
But
book.
then the adaptation was Robert Bloch and a name I wrote down that I can't find at the moment, but not Hitchcock.
Joseph Stefano wrote the screenplay
You passed my
to
test.
Hitchcock. Ah, good. Well, I have more notes here in my studio right now than Mel Gibson's character in Conspiracy Theory. So I have notes galore. I mean, it looks like a conspiracy theorist room. You can't see it all because the only thing I have behind me is a nice picture of Mother and
Mm-hmm.
then the alleged murder weapon. And I also found something in the fruit cellar we can talk about later. Look what I found here.
Oh my gosh,
This
he
is it.
has a wig, a stunning wig. Looks very expensive and high end. No, it looks like Mother Bates.
It looks like the Mother Bates.
Oh gosh, you really went all out. As we were chit-chatting, I did see the picture of Mother in the shower next to you, but I didn't notice the knife hanging. How did you suspend a knife from a curtain? That takes skill.
Well, there's something called fishing wire, fishing line,
Okay.
and yeah, it's relatively hidden. But yes, this is the alleged murder weapon that was also found in my kitchen a little while ago. So I just brought it down here just to add for effect.
It's like one of those things at the back of a kid's magazine when you're like, what doesn't belong in a picture? And it's like in the folds of your beautiful curtain, there's a knife hanging.
There is a knife hanging. Yes,
Oh,
yes,
that's fantastic.
indeed. I figured it went with the theme of the movie.
Do you remember the first time you saw Psycho?
Yes, I do. And it's one of those movies. Now, you said you just saw it yourself, right? You just
Yeah.
saw it recently. Okay.
Yeah.
So for me, when I first saw it, I think it was 2011, 2012.
Oh, okay.
So it's been a little while. I've seen it roughly 5, 6 times or so,
Okay.
along with a lot of Hitch's works. He's done quite a few movies, and we can talk about Psycho and how good it is in ranking, maybe even if you want to in a little bit.
I love a
You
ranking,
love rankings?
Jesse.
Okay,
Yes.
I'll give you rankings. But when I first saw it, it's a movie that kind of stays with you. And I think that is the mark, at least, of a good movie. It's like you go to bed, you think about it. You wake up, you think about it. Psycho was one of those movies that it didn't just focus on the external horror of sort of I gotcha,
Hmm.
which it does have a few. It has a few shaping moments in that movie where you have sort of the violent scenes. There's really
Very
not that many, though.
few.
Very few.
That's what I marveled at was the movie is what, an hour and 38 minutes or something?
An hour, 9 minutes. Yes.
No.
Hour
It's
9.
longer than that.
I have an hour, 9 minutes just based on my research. We could double check if you'd like, but I
Oh,
do
I'm
have it.
double checking.
I'm looking at my notes, and if it, you might be right. I may have wrong information, but I am looking at some notes that I kept.
Psycho run time. Anyway,
Talk to
uh
my note keeper and tell him what the heck are you doing.
oh, you were right. An hour and 49 minutes. So it's
49 minutes.
109 minutes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. An hour and 49 minutes, four of which are violent slash scary.
Yeah.
The rest of it is atmospheric.
Mm,
It's intellectually challenging at times. It's gripping. But really, for people to cite it, I've oft heard it called the scariest movie I've ever seen, or that
yes.
shower scene is the scariest thing I've ever. It's like there was so little about this movie that was genuinely scary. It
Hmm.
was lit well, paced well, acted to perfection, and that's the magic of Psycho to me.
Yes.
It's a
Yes.
lot easier to have a movie where heads are being chopped off and the boogeyman is chasing people, and that's pretty easy.
Yeah.
This is at its heart, it's just masterful. 97 and 95% on Rotten Tomato.
Ooh.
That's
Yeah.
yeah,
And I
it's
want to
a
say it's an
beloved film.
8.5 on IMDb when
All
I checked, I
right.
believe. So yeah, IMDb's rankings, I believe 8.5. So yeah, absolutely, it's extremely highly rated, and like what you're saying, it's the internal psychology. It's not
Mm,
the external jump gotcha scenes truly that make Psycho truly horrific in nature. It's the build up to what is behind the character Norman Bates, played by Anthony Perkins. So
yes.
that is really the horror. And I would absolutely give credit to throughout the entire movie, not just the shower scene, which is so infamous now, Bernard Herrmann's film score. That
Oh God.
throughout the whole movie, you could be with any character. You could be with Janet Leigh, you could be with Vera Miles. They walk around in broad daylight in certain scenes of that movie, and just the eerie music of Bernard Herrmann begins to make you go, what's coming? What's going to happen next? But
And
it's only a few big scenes of any kind of sort
right.
of violence, right?
They're not that big. I mean, the shower scene is the most elongated,
Yeah.
but when Arbogast, how do you say his name?
Arbogast.
Arbogast.
Arbogast,
When
Detective
he's
Arbogast.
killed, it's like lickety split.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? It's just
Yeah.
like a couple shots and it's done.
Yes.
So I think also I know nothing about lighting, but I
Mm.
think the lighting is a huge key to this film. It
Yes.
is so shadowy and so dark that that's creepy in itself. Like, yes, it's a dark and stormy night when it starts, but no room ever feels fully lit. No face is ever really lit perfectly, except Janet Leigh, who's so stunning. It's just, um, God damn. I mean, I never comment on the lighting of a movie, but
Yeah.
it's really astonishing.
Hitch just absolutely nails it. And even at the beginning scene, one of the beginning scenes is Janet Leigh. She's got the $40,000 with her. She wants to go buy a different car, like sort of a getaway car to get out of town or whatever. The policeman scene, right, where he's
Mhm.
following her and he shows up at her window, and you see that really quick shot of just the policeman's face. It's eerie in and of itself. It's broad daylight, right? Like
Right.
there's truly nothing scary there, but the way Hitch can make it scary,
Mhm.
it's just profound. His the realm of cinematography that he had a grasp of. Few people do, and so many people imitate. Martin Scorsese, he really takes a lot from Hitchcock. I believe it was even in Taxi Driver and a scene from Raging Bull that he takes some sort of bit from Hitchcock.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. Who wouldn't?
Right.
If it ain't broke, he does so much right. And I think I did try to see this movie when I was young, and I think I couldn't stick with it because to me, being young and stupid, it was boring. And I
Really, yeah.
oh yeah, I think there's so much of it that is taking place in people's heads.
Yes.
Do we even know what Marion's motivation is? Does she set out to steal the money right off the bat?
Well, it's interesting. So Robert Bloch, he wrote the book in 1959. The movie,
Uh-huh.
as we said earlier, came out in 1960.
Yeah.
In the book, so the book starts off with conversation between Norman and his mother. Unlike the movie that starts off in the middle of the city, in the middle of the day,
Mhm.
where Mary Crane or Marion Crane is having this sort of afternoon tryst with a guy
Right.
that she wants to go off and marry.
Right.
Her motivation for keeping the money is actually marriage. She wants to marry. In the book, it's definitely, I don't know if it was stated as much in the movie, but she really actually wanted to keep the money for herself so that way she could go off with Sam's character, and
But
get
she
married.
doesn't. That's why I was confused.
Yeah.
Like, she takes the money and then runs
Yes.
without, you would think she would call
You
Sam and
would
be like,
think she
meet
would do
me,
that. Right, right.
in the next town or whatever. But she doesn't. So
Maybe that was her plan. Maybe it was, hey, I got to go buy a car so then I could backtrack. But, it's not until she's already at Bates Motel does she go, you know what? I need to not go through with this plan. I got to go back. I'm going to go ahead and give. She actually starts recanting her position with stealing or taking the money. I did look up that $40,000 that she stole, modern day money, our time would be about $350,000
sure.
of cash. So yeah, if you
Life
look at
changing.
inflation, yeah, life changing money.
Yeah.
You get away with that. That's a decent that's a good chunk of change there.
Yeah. It's so funny. You have said so many of the things that I took notes on. Like, oh
Oh,
my God, the music is so so my notes are rendered useless. However, it is 26 minutes into this film before we see the Bates Motel. It is 26 minutes of her tryst with Sam, her workaday relationship with, fun fact, Pete, uh, Alfred Hitchcock's daughter, playing Caroline, the chatty coworker.
that's right.
And then she meets the gross guy and he gives her the $40,000. And I do think that there's a part of her that wouldn't have done it if not for how gross this oily Trump-esque guy is, who doesn't outwardly hit on her, but demeans her and gives her the money. And I just feel that was her impetus to be like, screw you, I'm taking your money, you're awful.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Do you
Sure.
think
Yeah.
she would have, had it been a lovely little old lady with all her life savings? I don't think
That
Marion
guy's
Crane would have
character was
stolen
over
the
the
money.
top annoying, was it not? That was one
Yeah.
thing as I was watching. I watched it in the span of 2 days. So I watched a little bit on Monday night and I watched some yesterday. I finished it up last night in lieu of the podcast. And one of the things that struck me was that particular character on how annoying he was about him flaunting how much money that he had and how this, I got to make my daughter happy and give her everything that she wants. But it was very annoying. Perhaps Mary Crane or Marion Crane would not have gone through. I call her Mary and Marion because Hitch changed the name. The book has her as Mary Crane. I believe
Mm-hmm.
in the movie they change it to Marion Crane. So
Correct.
it does go back and forth.
Yeah.
There, so
I was wondering, but then again, you're calling Alfred Hitchcock Hitch, so I feel like
I feel like
you're
I know him,
close to
even
this
though he's
stuff.
been long gone.
You are close to this stuff. I want to talk about the Bates Motel and what it's like when we first see it after this. So she arrives at the motel. It's raining, it's thunder, it's lightning, and it's all creepy. I mean, even on a lovely sunny day, this place would look creepy. And it does, because I've seen it at Universal Studios. Have you ever done the tour?
I haven't done the tour, but I have read about it.
Okay. Yeah. It's fun to see it. I believe that's where it's still there. But I could be wrong.
So the actual the house they have physically relocated, but it is still the same house. I think that's true as with the hotel as well. But yeah, so you have toured it, you've seen it, you can speak to more of it than I can.
Many, many, many years ago. So I didn't know if that was still there, but I do remember seeing the Bates Motel off in the distance or the house and feeling like there it is. Having never even sat through the whole movie, it is creepy and the design is fantastic. So I just can't believe how indelible that image is.
Mm-hmm.
And it only happens 26 minutes into the movie, much like Jaws, we only get in the last few minutes of the movie. It's the buildup that's so powerful.
Yeah, and with Jaws in particular, of course, we'll stay on Psycho, but it's funny because that wasn't even purposeful with the shark. Steven Spielberg had so much trouble with that darn shark. He could only get the filming of it at the very end of the movie, which totally worked for the effect, though, because it was it was psychological horror. It's what you didn't see underneath the water that really scared you, more so than that physical animatronic shark that actually looks a little campy now in 2026.
Yes. Yeah. It's, I did a movie on the podcast, The Babadook. Have you ever seen that?
I have not.
Oh, Jesse, talk about psychological horror.
Mm.
One of my dearest friends and frequent guest in my nerd journey, Tommy Metz, he's a horror aficionado, and he actually hosts a podcast called Sitting in the Dark that you should check out if you like horror. And there are movies that just stick with you, not because of the kills or the violence, but because of what they do to your mind. And The Babadook is one of those movies.
I have to check that out.
So she's checking into the hotel, and there's a very elongated moment where he goes to reach for a key, and he goes for cabin 1, then he moves his hand away, and then he goes back and decides on cabin 1. And I was like, what is that about? And then I see he has it rigged so he can spy on whoever's staying in cabin 1.
Mm-hmm.
We're assuming he doesn't have that for every room.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. I mean, not at least from his office, right? Because then he would have to go to this is long before video surveillance. So he would have, right? So he didn't have that. He didn't have the technology. Yeah, he would have had to go into if he put her in room 4, he would have had to go into room 3 or whatnot and then be able to spy on her from there. I think it was a matter of convenience that he had that whole thing rigmarolled to where he could spy on her. But it was almost that moment, you're right, where he kind of thought, I'll put her somewhere else. No, wait a minute. I want to watch her.
Yes.
You're right. Like, yeah.
So all it is a shot of a man reaching for a key, moving his hand and moving it back. And it gave me chills from head to toe.
Yeah.
That's so cool to be able to achieve that.
Yeah.
And I don't know Anthony Perkins from anything other than this. He was an Oscar-nominated romantic lead. And then this changed the trajectory of his career. because obviously he did creepy so well that people could never go back to seeing him as a leading man and a hero and all of that.
He
Isn't that fascinating?
It is, and what else is fascinating too is he thought long and hard about playing this role because he knew it would typecast him, and he knew that if I play this role, I might not ever get out of it. Which, yeah, he really didn't. And at least there was subsequent films. I haven't seen them, but there's Psycho 2, there's Psycho 3 and 4. And he played in
Oh,
all of them. So there actually are subsequent films that happened
right.
after this one. So at least he had an extended portion of his career devoted to the infamous Norman Bates.
There's so much to love about what he's doing in this movie because he is genuinely charming and self-deprecating to a point, and you want to hug him often because he just seems so unsure of himself and stammering when he's nervous, and right, you feel like, oh, this poor guy, I want to give him a hug and make him feel better. And that part of him exists even after we know he's his mother. We know, like, oh, spoiler alert, 70 years
alert.
later, right? But
Yeah.
even once we know what he is capable of and all of the things wrong with him, there is still a part of me, maybe it's the mother instinct, that wants to hug Norman Bates. And I don't know how many actors could pull that off. He's flawless in this movie for me.
Hitch took the bass frequencies out of his voice when they dubbed after they were doing post-production. So they dubbed his voice a little bit to take out those bass frequencies to give him even more of this sort of youthful sound.
Oh, that's fascinating. I only made note of the voice of Norma is not Anthony Perkins, and I wish it was.
Right. It was actually multiple voice actresses,
Three
right?
voice.
You got okay.
Two women and a man. Three people that he was using and mixing and interchanging is what I read.
Yes. Yes.
But I didn't know this was all based on a real person.
Yes, it was.
Talk to me about Ed Gein.
Ed
Is that how
Gein.
you say it?
I said Gein at first, and then so if there's a movie, it's called Hitchcock, actually, played by Sir Anthony Hopkins in 2012. And so they mention it sort of revolves and focuses on this whole portion of time around Psycho. And so they pronounce it Ed Gein. We can do Gein, we can do Gein, whatnot, whatever, right? But in 1957 in Wisconsin, Ed Gein he lived on an isolated farm, okay? And police found the body of what do my notes say here? They found the body of a gutted body of a missing store clerk at Gein's farmhouse. They also discovered human skulls and furniture, clothing, including a suit made entirely from human body parts and skin. So ironically, maybe is this in your notes too about Robert Bloch? Because I'll let you.
No, I was going to say I haven't done my spring cleaning, and I know I have a lot of garbage, but we're
not going to find any of that in your house.
Maybe one skull.
Okay, all right.
Multiple skulls. That's just gross.
Yeah, multiples too many. One, and we can let you off.
Let it slide.
We'll let you off on good behavior.
Tell me about Robert Bloch, the author of the book.
So here's the irony: Robert Bloch lives 29 miles from Ed Gein's farm.
Oh, okay.
Before he writes the book. So I don't know if there's so here's the thing, and I did some research on this. I don't know if there's some weird synchronicity going on in the air or whatnot, but Robert Bloch has already started apparently writing Psycho before he even knows about Ed Gein. Which is like, wait a minute, how is that possible, right? One of the quotes from Robert Bloch was, I discovered how closely the imaginary character I'd created resembled the real Ed Gein, both in overt act and apparent motivation. Because, the story of Psycho is the whole mother thing. Well, right. Ed Gein also had a massive fascination with his then deceased mother and pretended to be her. So it's like there's this weird crossover going on in the 50s.
Yes, and the universe does shit like that all the time, right? And at the very basic level, if you're going through a breakup, every song on the radio is a breakup song, right? Yes. So whatever we are thinking of, we become aware of it in society. My guess is that Robert Bloch, I'm not accusing him of ripping this from the headlines, but wouldn't have even really paid attention to the headlines if he hadn't already been thinking of this, right?
Yes, I would
So
agree with you.
you
Yeah.
you would be reading your paper and going, oh, that's disgusting. Somebody's collecting skulls and they think wait a minute. That's partially what I've been
That
writing.
sounds like my neighbor down the road.
Right. Oh, God.
Right?
Well, Wisconsin, wrong accent, but we'll
Sorry.
do
Yeah, that's
accent
true.
work
That's
later.
true. If it was maybe
But
Arkansas or Mississippi.
yeah, I don't doubt that. I don't
Yeah.
doubt that they intertwined and crossed, and I love that about the universe, but it also freaks me out
It is freaky, isn't it?
and this was before Alexa was listening to us at all times and
Right.
could bring things to our attention.
Exactly. This is where if I think a thought sometimes, it does appear on my phone later on, even if I don't say it, which is really bizarre.
No, me too.
This is long before that
Yeah.
technology was created for us to fall into various weird traps and algorithmic pigeonholes of whatever. It did seem kind of odd as I was researching the Robert Bloch whole Ed Gein background. Like, wait a minute, what came? The chicken or the egg here? What part of the story? Who you thought of this story as it was happening, or you read a little bit in the newspaper and then kind of wrote it? Which is I would tend to agree with you. That's probably what happened. He had to have gotten wind of this story.
Yeah, in some way. The best quote in the film: "A boy's best friend is his mother."
Isn't that true? Sometimes.
Why doesn't my son know this? Look, I'm not saying I want him to kill me and then keep my body and pretend to be me, but he could say please and thank you a little more.
True. You don't have a fruit cellar, do you?
Yeah, you mentioned a fruit cellar before. Is that where she finds
that's
the mother,
that's towards the end of the movie when Norman takes his dead mother downstairs in the fruit cellar. And Vera Miles' character is upstairs, and then she runs and hides because she sees Norman come in the house. She runs downstairs in the fruit cellar. She's like, "Oh, hey, Mrs. Bates."
Yeah, there you are.
And then turns the chair around. The interesting thing about the secrecy of Alfred Hitchcock in this movie was Alfred bought the book rights after it. This is interesting. You mentioned The Godfather at the beginning. Godfather came out, and it wasn't a year later that the movie was made. Here we have a very similar story. Psycho, the book, comes out in 1959. The movie's made in 1960. Hitchcock, he's super excited about it after reading the book. He takes it to Paramount Pictures. Paramount's like, no, we don't want to do this. This isn't us. This isn't even you, Alfred. What are you doing? This is like B/horror. You're more suspense and thriller. What are you doing? And he says, fine, then I'm going to go ahead and I will do this on my own money. I'll do this with my own money. So Alfred spends $807,000, which is like nothing in Hollywood now.
Right.
And does the movie and carries forward himself. So yeah. It's very just the origins of the story. So towards the opening day, when they very first started shooting the movie, they had in the chair a seat for quote unquote Mrs. Bates. And Hitchcock literally told his cast, he made them swear into secrecy not to reveal the ending to anyone, which apparently everyone kept except for one minor actor I read. It wasn't Janet Leigh or Vera Miles, but there was someone who told somebody else but obviously it didn't get around to the whole world. But there was only, you couldn't keep a secret like that at all anymore in Hollywood. But they did have
Taylor
a chair.
Swift did.
Taylor did she?
Yes, when her Life of a Showgirl album is her most recent album, and she was filming a video for the first song, Fate of Ophelia. She wouldn't play the song on set. None of the dancers, no one on set had heard the song because she didn't want it leaked. Wow. And normally when you are making a music video, they're blasting the song and everyone can, right? So I thought that was so interesting. So Taylor Swift is better than Alfred Hitchcock. There, I said it.
Wow.
What?
You couldn't bring me to say that personally, but I will let you say it, Mandy, because this is your podcast.
You're damn right it is. It is my podcast, but I don't make this podcast alone. No. Make Me a Nerd is a production of True Story FM, engineering by the peerless Pete Wright. My theme song is Wonderstruck by Jane and the Boy. And I would be so grateful if you're listening on Apple Podcasts. Please leave a 5-star review and make a comment. I'll give you a shout out on the podcast, and it helps more people find it. And that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to grow and keep this journey alive. If you're feeling extra supportive, please go to makemeanerd.com/join, and hitting that button will get you your episodes ad-free and early, and my eternal gratitude. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back. Okay, let's talk about that shower scene if we can.
Yes, of course.
The most iconic scene in the film.
Absolutely.
It is 48 minutes in, meaning our leading lady, who was a star at the time, dies and is never seen again in the film, 48 minutes in, and it only lasts 60 seconds. And that's what, I mean, in the opening credit of Friends, Phoebe goes, like in the opening credit sequence. This is, how do you create something like that? And it's really not violent. It's scary because we see her eyes, we see that she's terrified, and we see body parts, but it's not all that violent. It's just effective in every way. Discuss.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It took 7 days to film the shower sequence. There were 78 different camera angles.
Whoa.
And there was 52 edits. So yeah, you're right. So she's supposed to be nude in the shower scene, but Janet Leigh had like moleskin patches over her chest.
Okay.
So even though you think you see things, you think you see nudity, you think you see gore, you don't. Like,
right.
He filmed it in such a way that was just perfect, because you don't, you actually, what you think you see isn't even there, right? So it kind of goes back to, that is a perfect dichotomy of the external, internal horror, right? So it's like literally what you think your mind's eye, what you think your eye is seeing, you're not even really seeing.
Right.
It's just the beauty of Hitchcock, on top of Bernard Herrmann's soundtrack there. So Bernard Herrmann came to Hitch and said, hey, I've got music for this scene. We should play it. And Hitchcock said, absolutely not. I want there to be no music during the shower sequence. Bernard Herrmann's like, come on, please, just let me show you the music that I have for it, and you can turn it down if you don't like it. Hitch hears it. He couples it with the movie scene. He couples it with the movie in pre-production. He sees it and says, I'm doubling your salary. So he doubles Bernard Herrmann's salary to $34,000 at the time, which I suppose was kind of a fortune back then.
Well, we know it's
good job,
near 300,000.
We know that
from your fun fact from earlier.
Another fun fact: the $40,000 that Janet Leigh's character has, Anthony Perkins' salary for the movie was $40,000.
His daughter got paid $500 a day to play Caroline.
Oh. Patricia Hitchcock did? Hitch's daughter? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I have fingers and I can type too.
Yeah. Well, if you had been alive in 1960, which I'm sure you were not, and neither was I, could have done that.
I was not. I really admire that Janet Leigh's character, Marion Crane, is not your typical weak, screaming, vulnerable, doe-eyed ingenue who then turns into a final girl. This is very atypical. She is complex. She's imperfect. The movie starts with her committing a crime and trying to get away with it. And I don't know how common that was at the time.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's cool stuff.
Well, what else was not common at the time was, as you mentioned, this is only how many minutes into the film that her character gets whacked.
48
literally.
minutes. Right.
Right. So this is
1960
Hollywood. This did not happen in movies, where Hitchcock purposefully had Janet Leigh's character emblazoned on all of the marquees, on all of the advertisements and such. Everybody would expect Janet Leigh's character to live. That's what all of characters did.
Correct.
That were the leading ladies or the leading men at the time. They would not die, right? You'd always get
final
sort of your
girl.
happy ending, right?
Yeah.
Well, all of a sudden, not only do you get at the time, maybe the scariest sequence in movie history at that time, you also get the leading lady gone. She's gone after just 46 minutes. Are you kidding? So the shock of the audience at the time, I've read people in that scene, they fell over, people were fainting, screaming, and Hitchcock loved that. He waited in the wings at the premiere, stood back there, and took it all in. He absolutely loved the reaction of the audiences.
And that's the thing. I've brought it up on the podcast many times. I love when a main character dies because it keeps us on the edge of our seat all the time. And when you know the hero's gonna live, it's boring. It's predictable. Yes. And for him to do this in 1960 with a major movie star is utterly thrilling to me. For so many reasons.
It was unprecedented move in Hollywood, and it was absolutely perfect. And you can see why too, because if you had read the book, you would know that Marion Crane was going to die. So so Hitchcock, he buys the rights for $9,000 of the book, and he scoops up as many copies as he can because he doesn't want anybody to know that his leading lady is going to die very, very early in the movie.
That's a bit shitty to Robert Bloch, although I'm sure Robert Bloch is happy with the aftermath of the film.
Oh, yeah.
But if I were an author, as much as I'd be happy my book sold, I would be disappointed to find out they all sold to one guy.
Yes.
And that others weren't reading my words.
Yes. Hitchcock, let's see, I had a note. Bloch did love the movie. I have a quote from Bloch saying that he essentially thought it was great. It was a great rendition, which, yeah, I mean, of course, if that's your baby on film and it becomes one of the biggest movies of that era, and really now, I mean, of all time, even if like you said, you had not seen it, but you already knew some of the homages, you knew some of the things, right? I mean, that music is famous. You could hear that music in a cartoon or a shower sequence. See, people would talk about the shower scene in other movies because it's so iconic.
Absolutely.
Another piece of iconery, if you will, if I can deem that, is the toilet flush. That was the first time in movie history that we actually have a toilet flush on screen in Hollywood.
But it was just paper going down.
The censors at the time, very different, very different. Very different. Yeah. It was like very taboo. We don't really focus on toilets, but Hitchcock said, no, it's very, very important that we have the toilet flush, because she's going to eventually scoop out some very pertinent details, right? He finds the handwriting of her sister in there.
Yeah. Wow, you are a treasure trove of fun facts and knowledge, and I love it. I talked earlier about the lighting, and I took a picture of my screen that I want to share with you. And Pete, if you could put this up, the best scene in the movie for me is can you make that out?
Oh, sure. And Norman, we're looking at a picture of Norman's chin.
Yes. Norman's chin in shadow. The best scene in the movie is the two of them before she eats it. She's nibbling at a sandwich and pretending to eat it, and they're talking. And it is the most gripping, long scene of the movie. And he shoots, you can all see the picture. He shoots Anthony Perkins from underneath him for so much of this scene that we barely see his face. And then he says, she suggests, well, maybe you should put your mother in a home. And then it immediately goes to his face. And he's like, you mean an institution? A madhouse? And I got chills head to toe because of the switch of camera angles. Who shoots an actor's Adam's apple in shadow for a whole scene?
Yeah. Who does that?
Damn, it's so cool.
It's very cool. It's very cool. That's where, I love Hitchcock. So
I'm getting that.
getting just some more deeper background in Hitchcock's life. He took from a lot of German directors. Hitchcock didn't always live in America. He lived across the pond, and he took from a lot of German directors. And German directors at the time were, they were kind of experimenting with different angles and different things. And one of the elements that Hitchcock took was these sort of odd angles, either above the head, below. And because with all of the various angles, like you and I today sitting here, the angle of my face, the angle of your face gives a
Perfection,
certain
Jesse.
perfection. There you
Perfection.
go. There you go.
Your
But
lighting, your
but it's
shadows, it's all
different than the
perfect.
side, right? Like all of a
Yeah.
sudden, if I started talking to you from the side, you get a different element of who I am as a human being. Same with you. So yeah, Hitchcock, he could tell a story with the face like that, and from particular angles that you normally would not think would work. But
Well,
Hitchcock
and
delivers.
just so for those of you listening, not watching, which is literally everyone, Jesse, as he was talking, turned his head to the side just to show me. That would make me think you were hiding something. If you couldn't look me in the eye face to face, I would feel like you were being duplicitous or just hiding something. And there it is. I mean, they are both hiding something in this scene. And she's
Yes.
holding that little sandwich, the little white bread sandwich,
Right.
like a mask over her face. And we're only seeing Norman Bates from under his chin for a great portion of it. Oh,
Yeah.
I loved that scene.
Yes. Yes. It is a very good scene. Also, something we should mention about the shower scene is that, of course, it's not real blood. Do you know what it is?
Uh, Corn
When
syrup?
it is chocolate syrup.
Oh,
Yep. So it's chocolate syrup. It is not real blood that is spilling out.
well, in black and white, I
In black
wasn't
and
thinking
white.
in black and white, you can do chocolate syrup. In today's world, we use corn syrup.
Yes. Yeah.
Uh,
And Hitch wanted the movie to be black and white. Number one, because it was cheaper, but also because he really did not like blood, which might be ironic to people.
huh.
If he did Psycho, he's done other movies that Dial M for Murder. There's a blood scene in there, but he doesn't like a ton of blood. So that was another reason that the movie is black and white. The
Interesting.
movie before that he did was North by Northwest with Cary Grant
Yep.
and Eva Marie Saint, and that
Yeah.
is in color.
It
Dial M
sure
for Murder
is.
color. Yeah, so he did not have to do black and white, but I think budgetary reasons and also that gory shower scene led him to black and white.
That's so interesting. And now, since you're bringing up other Hitchcock films and you had mentioned ranking, I know I saw Rear Window,
Mhm.
and that is indelible to me.
Love
I
that.
don't know which other ones I have seen. Which are your favorites?
Okay, so I was talking about this morning with my sons because we've watched Psycho together, and now we're watching Dial M for Murder. So I do love the picture Dial M for Murder with Grace
Okay.
Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
Grace Kelly's 23, 24 years old. She's at the height of her career. She's lovely. It's actually that story is from a theater, from a stage play. So
Yeah.
Dial M for Murder is an excellent film. As you said, Rear Window, that is indelible. That is one of my favorites as well. And Rope is good. It's a little bit earlier. I want to say that's maybe 47 or 48, but I could be wrong
Oh.
on the year. That movie's fabulous. And again, that movie is based on a stage play.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's one of the earliest movies where they tried to do one sequential shot throughout the entire picture. Now, I don't think, of course, they were able to do that, but it gives you the illusion that the movie doesn't have any cuts in it, right? Like the movie
Wow. I'm
1917 that came out a
writing
few
these
years
down.
ago.
This is good stuff.
Yeah. North by Northwest, of course, that's one of his
I have
more
seen
famous
that one.
ones. That's a
Yeah.
great one.
That's the airplane.
Yes, the airplane one,
Yeah.
Cary Grant and falling over in Mount Rushmore
Charade.
at the
I've
end.
seen Charade.
Charade is not a Hitchcock. It is the Hitchcock that is not a Hitchcock movie, which I've seen several times. Believe it or not, Charade is not directed by the great Alfred Hitchcock.
Does he have anything to do with it? Why
It has
would I think that?
nothing to do because it feels like a Hitchcock movie.
For
It feels
real?
like a Hitchcock
That it
picture.
feels that way?
I'll give you $1 million that I don't have if it is directed by Hitchcock. If you pull it up and you find that it is directed by Alfred Hitchcock.
So I think also one of the reasons why it is Stanley Donen. All right.
All right.
That's so strange. My father in particular was a lover of old movies, black and whites, noir, anything like this. He loved all of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, not to be a dick, but that put me off of it for a while. Because when your parents are saying, this is a classic, you have to watch this. and they're forcing 8-year-old me to watch The Maltese Falcon, which I still can't sit through. It's, it taints it in a
Sure.
way. And I've done that to Casey. I've ruined really good movies for him by saying like, "Oh my God, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. You have to watch this." And he's like, "It was fine.
Yeah.
It's okay."
Yeah.
And so I think that I remember watching Charade with my dad and Rear Window and stuff like that. And I think I've resisted a lot of it because
Mm.
it's that feeling of homework that your
Your
parents.
parents made you do, so I don't really
Yes.
want to do it. Kind of the contrarian attitude
Yeah,
towards it.
yeah,
Sure,
yeah.
sure, 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 sure. Yeah, absolutely. I kind of my parents did never watched Hitchcock. My grandma, I was talking to her the other day, and ironically, she said we were talking about Vera Miles, the character who plays Janet Leigh's sister. Vera
Yes.
Miles is actually still alive.
Yes, she is.
I think she's the only cast member. Maybe
I
you did
believe
some more research.
so.
Okay, she's about 95, 96 years old now. And I was telling her that I was watching a Vera Miles movie because she does like older movies, not
Mhm.
horror or thriller, not
Uh-huh.
Psycho. And she said, "Which one?" And I said, "Psycho." And she goes, "Oh!" She goes, "I was coming home with a friend of mine in 1960, whatever. It was after the movie was out and on TV. And we stopped at a motel and we watched that movie." I was, what a perfect place to watch Psycho for the first time in a motel.
Right.
"Grandma, did you take a shower?" She said, "I don't remember." So she's from Southern Missouri. She really has that accent. So I didn't make that one up. That accent was authentic, unlike the
I'll
other
allow it.
Wisconsin one that I messed up on.
I'll allow it. I remember my family, we were on a road trip and it was like raining and disastrous. And we went to go see Vacation, the original Vacation.
Oh, wow. That's
And
perfect timing.
yeah, it was, I was a little too young. So a lot of it went over my head, probably for the best. But there are those serendipitous things like we're staying in a motel. Let's watch Psycho.
Which
We're
motel
on a
movie?
disastrous road trip. Let's watch Vacation.
Yeah.
I wanted to tell you about Vera Miles. What I learned was that Hitchcock intended to make her his next muse.
Yes,
She
he
was
did.
supposed to take over for Grace Kelly. I don't recall why that didn't happen, but then I think she didn't like working with him or something.
So in the movie Hitchcock, which is pretty authoritative, I think they take a little bit of it is an adaptation and not everything is historically correct, although they do get a lot right. I've read a couple of books from actual film historians on Hitchcock, and so they do get a lot right. But one of the things that movie in particular points out, I think, is correct. Vera Miles really wanted to be a family woman, right?
Mhm.
So she was married or was getting married. She wanted to have a kid at the time. Hitchcock had this unusual fascination with blondes. Okay.
Mhm.
And so most of his leading actresses were blondes. And he kind of, now, I don't think anything ever happened. According to most historians that I've read, he never actually did anything with these leading actresses, right? But I think he wanted to. I think he
Mhm.
had this, he like Norman Bates, if you will, he liked standing behind the room, gazing,
Mm.
seeing, creating this sort of imaginary reality that he
Mhm.
could potentially have with Ingrid Bergman or Grace Kelly or Vera Miles. And I think he liked his leading actresses young, single, at his disposal to do whatever he wanted to do.
Okay.
So that is the history lesson about that
Yeah.
I have read and gone into.
Yeah. Uh I cannot believe how fast this is flying by because this is
It's just
such
too
a
much
rich
fun.
topic.
I
I
told
know.
you, there's too much about Hitchcock. That's the problem.
One of the reasons I love the podcast is if you tried to nerd out in this much detail at a dinner party, it's people want to move on, right? They want to talk about a movie for 10, 15 minutes and then they want to move on. No one wants to go scene by scene or dive into all the trivia and fun facts. So thank you. Thank you for coming and doing this with me and letting me do this. I know there was a remake and I know people feel very strongly about it. And I want to ask your thoughts right after this. Vince Vaughn, shot for shot remake of Psycho. Do I have that right?
That's correct. 1995, 96, I think. I
So
might be wrong. It was the mid 90s, I believe.
it was the height of his fame
Yeah.
and
And they're like,
his
hey, what do you want to do
ability to
now?
get things greenlit.
Yeah. What do you want to do now? I think I want to play Norman Bates.
98.
Okay, 98.
Did you see it?
So I want to say I've seen a part of that movie. I don't think I watched from beginning to end. I cannot even recall as to why I did or didn't, but it is I believe, a scene by scene, frame by frame, almost perfect rendition, right? It's not one of those remakes where you get it and it's way different and they've done this and altered that. I think the
Right.
only thing they've altered on a podcast that I listened to recently about this was the shower scene. They kind of made it longer. They did a little bit more, and then also when he's like gazing at Janet Leigh's character, they actually have him uh, doing something inappropriate. We'll just put it that way.
Mm-hmm. Uh, yeah, that would make sense, though. I mean, back in
Nin-
1960, you wouldn't show that,
1960 was different. The censors is very different. Yeah. Yeah.
but this movie is pretty racy. I mean, it starts with Janet Leigh making out with Sam, and she's only in her bra.
Mm-hmm.
And I was shocked at how much skin was being shown and that they were kissing on a bed and rolling all around. I mean, this movie felt very racy. Do you know if it was considered racy? And did any crazy, like, conservatives try to protest this movie?
Oh, the censors were all over it. Yeah, Hitch had to make lots of deals with them and go in the backroom meetings and say, "Okay, we'll do this, we won't do that." Well, I mean, Hitchcock wanted to actually have Janet Leigh completely topless. I've read.
Oh,
So
of
to
course they did.
actually, so for him, I mean, she had, and the other interesting thing is, yeah, she is in a bra. She's in a white bra at the time, and then later on, when she takes the money, she's wearing a black bra.
Black bra.
Right, so you kind of had this dichotomy
You
of
had to whisper it,
good
Jesse.
girl to black. Well, I'm just saying, there's this dichotomy
Yeah.
of she was kind of the good girl going bad, right?
Yep.
And this was, even with that color variation there.
Yeah. I mean, it just, so much of it felt like, oh, are we allowed to be watching this? Are we allowed to say these things? I don't know the history, because at the end, Norman Bates is arrested and a cop comes out and does a very long explanation of everything. Now, I'm not criticizing Psycho, but if I were to do a pass at it, I would have let more of the details come from Norman himself or from other characters who were close to it. It's a little deus ex machina to have a cop swoop in and go, "I got all the details. Here's everything you need to know about the last hour of your life," right?
It's showing. It's showing. It's telling and not showing. Right. He comes
Yes.
in, and that I totally agree. Having seen that last night, finishing it, you do have this long monologue with this overacting actor. Not to knock him, but he was kind of overacting a little bit in that scene,
Mm-hmm.
and he's just explaining everything away, like you said, that you've just been watching for the last over hour of your life, and it did seem a little bit like, hey, just actually show it to us. You're telling us all of these things.
Right.
But yeah, I felt like that was very if there was any part of the movie where you kind of draw back a little bit and say it's not as perfect as it could be, I would actually say it is during that particular scene.
Jesse,
We think the same.
you're the ideal guest because you didn't contradict me in any way.
Oh, wow.
That's all I'm looking for out of life.
That's great.
Yeah, I imagine a version where Norman is sitting in the interrogation room and the camera just slowly comes in as he, little by little lets details come out. And I
Yes.
could have done without a cop, or a cop, just a voice of a cop saying, "And then what did you do? And why did you do that?"
Sure.
The cop actually explains transvestites, which, doesn't he? Talks
He
about
does. He does.
a guy dressing
He talks
as a
about that,
woman,
but then
and
he describes the psychology of really what happened with Norman in this particular case.
right.
Right.
I
More of
just
more of
imagine,
like a mental break.
right, but I imagine some pearls being clutched at hearing the word transvestite and having it be explained. And then I imagine, I understand that those who were progressive might think, "Oh, great, you're saying transvestites are killers," which is a problem just about representation. And, but back then, I don't even know that most of the public would have known the word transvestite.
Probably would have been a new word for some people. Yeah, I don't know.
Just a little observation. Is there anything else we need to say about Hitchcock and Psycho? This is not your favorite Hitchcock.
I would say this. Okay, so ranking. I would say Psycho. I will give it as his best movie. It probably is the best, and it probably is my favorite. But I do love Rear Window right there. It's at number.
Mhm.
It's like tied for number 2 with Dial M for Murder. So I would have to give it to Psycho. It interesting. Some just real quick. Some other
Yeah.
interesting facts.
Yeah.
Walt Disney refused to let Hitchcock film at Disneyland because, quote, that disgusting movie Psycho.
Mm.
So Walt Disney hated the movie.
Mhm.
Of course, it doesn't really have a happy Disney ending, so we can, that kind of
Right.
makes sense with old Walt there. An
Right.
angry father wrote Hitchcock, saying that his daughter wouldn't take baths after the movie. I'm going to mispronounce this. Diabolique. Diabolique. It's I believe, a French film that has a bathroom scene that's pretty scary. So this
Okay.
father writes and says, "My daughter wouldn't take baths, but now she's seen Psycho. Now she won't take
Take
showers."
showers.
And so Hitchcock wrote back and he said, "Well, send her to the dry cleaners." So I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Just his dry, wonderful Brit sense of humor was beautiful.
Uh, my memory of him as a kid was him walking into the frame for Alfred Hitchcock Presents. Dun dun, right? And
Mhm.
then he would fill his own silhouette. Like
Yes.
that's my knowledge of Hitchcock, which is
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for enlightening me. Where can people check out your YouTube podcast that you do if you
So
want
I
them to?
Sure. No, so I actually don't do the podcast at the moment right now.
Oh,
That it was called the Love of Life podcast. We have all our episodes on there. We haven't done one in over a year because we've just been too busy doing many other things. But we have that. But people can check me out. I am on X. I believe my handle is Jesse Michael 111. I made it when X, Twitter, whatever was first made a million years ago. Terrible name.
sure.
But I'm on there, and then I'm on Instagram. People can follow me. They're more than welcome to do that as well. Jesse Pfister, it should just be under my name.
Great. Great. Thank you so much, my new friend. This was so much fun.
It was a blast and a lovely time, Mandy. Thank you so much.
And thank you, everyone, for listening. Until next time.